What's going on, everybody? We are on the clock, back with episode 3 today. We're rocking and rolling. It's a great time to be alive. We're doing something new today on the show. We are going. There is some echo. 1 second. I'll be right back. But Justin, let our wonderful fans know what's going on today.
All right, so today we got a very special episode of On the Clock. We are actually going to be taking callers on the show. So, if you want to hop on, feel free to go onto the U Stadium app and hit that link. We pushed it out not too long ago. I'm very excited to be here. Draft anxiety is a real thing, so I'm glad to have something to do. And, the leading hours up. Got the Tua jersey on. I'm doing my best 2020 Roger Goodell impression here in my basement. That's why you got the exercise equipment behind me. But like I said, I'm very excited to be here. And like I said, you want to hop on, feel free. Click that link. We'll get you on here. We'll talk a little bit, what your team's going to do, what you want your team to do, some, bold predictions that you might have. So, feel free to hop on. Let's get this thing rolling. I'm very excited.
Yeah, huge time. And of course, we've got the live show coming up. I've seen some of these graphics, man. We have a lovely cast of definite guys like CJ Mosley, Jamison Crowder, and we got some bangers that might pop in. We're talking some bangers, really. Yeah. So hop on this show. Might even be able to come on the next show. We're gonna try to pull some strings, get some fans, get some live reactions. So when you're a Packers fan and your team trades up for a quarterback again, we can get your live reaction and it'll be on YouTube forever. So, what a time to be alive, right?
Yeah.
Draft day starts in.
It starts less than 2 hours officially. I've been waiting for so long, man. I've been so excited. I don't think I've ever been more excited for the draft. I think it's because my team, the Miami Dolphins, were in a really good position with where we are. The Laramie Tunsil trade, the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely.
I don't think any of us could have saw the Texans imploding the way that they did. But, that first-round pick is now turned into multiple first-round picks. So I'm very excited, picking at 6 and 18. Hopefully we get a weapon to surround Tua, give him a little bit more talent to work with. Hopefully get maybe an edge rusher at 18, maybe an offensive tackle, whatever ends up happening. But there is so much talent in this draft. And I believe this might be probably the deepest draft in quite some time.
Yeah, there's I looked at my big board the other day, and there were guys that I had in the 100s, 110s, 120s that, in a normal year, are a second-round pick,
Definitely.
And then there are guys that, my favorite guy ever is Rashad Bateman, right? So Rashad Bateman in most years is wide receiver 2. This year he's wide receiver 4. There are real life people that have him dropping out of the first round. What? Yeah. And most years he's wide receiver 2. So we do have our first potential guest. It's a return, actually.
Really?
So I'm gonna let him fix his hair and
see what we got.
Yeah. What's up, Jack?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll throw you big screen.
All right.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. What are you guys talking about? I just hopped in.
We are. I was talking about the Rashad Bateman, and Justin just mentioned the depth of the draft class.
Yeah, this is a very, very deep draft. But Jack, while we got you here, what do you see the Patriots doing? What's your prediction for tonight?
I don't know. So before it seemed more far-fetched what I wanted the Patriots to do, which was obviously Justin Fields. But now it seems a little less far-fetched. I could see it happening. I wouldn't be that mad if they didn't. But that's obviously who I would prefer.
It's like a dream scenario.
Most. Yeah. I would freak out if they got him. If they didn't, then I would prefer they don't get Mac Jones. I would like a Devontae Smith would be cool. A Micah Parsons would be cool. Jalen Waddle would be okay. Trey Lance would be cool too. Pretty much just not Mac Jones, but Justin Fields would be ideal dream scenario.
Yeah, I actually don't really hate the Mac Jones fit in that Patriots offense. I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me there, but I believe if Mac Jones is going to be successful anywhere, it's probably going to be New England. I believe he'd be a good fit there. He's not the ideal option, of course. You got 4 quarterbacks in this draft who are better than him.
He could be okay. I mean, like I said, it's a hot up earlier in a post. I said, like, if the Patriots draft him, I won't hate on it. I won't like be super pissed. I'll just back him all the way. Like I'll be good. I'll hope for him to succeed, and I'll really root for him. But I won't be pumped like right away.
That's understandable.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. It's like when a team takes an offensive lineman. Like I remember when the Ravens took Ronnie Stanley 6th overall. It's like I know he's going to be good, Notre Dame lineman. I know he's this, that, the other, but it's like I kind of wanted Ezekiel Elliott, kind of want Jalen Ramsey, but you get a tackle. It's like, ugh. So I would imagine you feel something like that with Mac Jones. It's far from the sexy pick. You'd prefer Fields. You'd prefer Lance. At least I'd prefer Lance. I don't know how you feel about Lance, but
I like both of them.
Yeah, I think Jones can be successful, and he's very much like I don't want to say system quarterback, but of course the system helps. This is why I think a lot of people are saying, well, why is Fields falling? He's going to be great. Well, a part of that's because he's going to be with Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta with tons and tons and tons of weapons, or again, like in a team that you think he's going to succeed, unlike Zach Wilson with the Jets. And we'll throw up this question from Shea Butter 1219. What's your gut feeling with Zach Wilson to the Jets?
I would say definitely. I mean, I think he's definitely going there. Is that the question, or is it how he's going to perform?
Yeah, I guess like how are you feeling about having Zach Wilson just chilling with the Jets
in the division?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really like. Other people really hate him. I honestly haven't watched him that much. I know a lot of Jets fans. It's like a total mix on U Stadium with how Jets fans feel about him. I don't know. I mean, as long as he's not a Patriot beater, then I don't care.
Yeah. I don't know. I watched so much Zach Wilson, and I just couldn't force myself to like him. I mean, he's got incredible arm talent. He made some crazy throws this year. But you also, once you look past that, I saw a lot of like really weird decision making. Not necessarily on like a Darnold level. I don't think he's going to be Darnold bad. Definitely not. But it's hard to be Darnold bad. But there was just like times when he would have a wide open guy downfield and he would like force it into double coverage. But I mean, you make the amazing throw, you give your receiver the best chance to get it, then I guess it doesn't really matter in the end. But it's just, I couldn't force myself to like him. And I think the Jets, what they should do it to is draft Justin Fields. Of course, we all know Zach Wilson is like a foregone conclusion at this point.
Right.
But it's just, I couldn't force myself to like him. That's really about it. He's still my QB4. I still have him above Mac Jones. And I don't hate him by any means. I don't hate Zach Wilson. I don't hate the pick at 2. I just think there are better options in this, aforementioned, very, very deep draft class.
So I got some news. I guess it's news. From Bleacher Report. So there's 2 huge.
I just got that notification.
Yeah, huge bets. So give me your gut reaction.
That's 100K on Mac is bold, man.
Ooh, man.
What are you guys seeing?
Bleacher Report, huge bets on the number 3 pick. $100,000 on Mac Jones. I think I can. Yeah, there we go. $100,000 on Mac Jones. $75K on Trey Lance.
That's a bold call on Mac Jones.
Wow.
That's actually
it's possible. I don't really see it happening, but it's possible.
I would take if I'm them and I'm deciding between Jones and Lance, you take Lance, and I think you guarantee yourself a Super Bowl.
I agree with that. But it's just like I've been mocking Trey Lance to San Francisco for probably like the past couple of weeks now. So like, the more I think about it, it's just like Mac Jones like really fits that mold of like what Kyle Shanahan has had in the past. Like, the statue in the pocket, like the Jimmy G's and the Matt Ryans, he's not uber talented like say a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields, but he's smart. He makes good decisions. He throws with accuracy most of the time. He does have the occasional overthrow. We saw that at his pro day. But I believe Kyle Shanahan, it's really not like, are you going to take the risk on Trey Lance and get like somebody with a much higher ceiling? Or are you going to go somebody who, has this play style that you're familiar with? Like, I mean, like I've said so many times, like I'd rather go Trey Lance than Mac Jones. But when you take Mac Jones, you're getting a very similar play style to Jimmy G. And probably somebody who's going to be better than Jimmy G if we're all really being honest here. But the draft starts at 3. I think we've all known that for some time, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they just pulled a fast one on us and take Justin Fields at 3. I think that would throw everything into chaos. But the whole thing's secret. Only John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan knows. So I will be watching with anticipation to see what the 49ers do at 3. But speaking of the 49ers, Jack, I have a question for you.
Yep.
We saw the news with Aaron Rodgers today.
I post.
Yeah. 49ers apparently tried to make a trade for him. Packers said no way. And then we had that bombshell from Shefty a few minutes later saying Rodgers wants out.
Actually, I can pull it up.
So I want to, you as a Patriots fan, you had Tom Brady in, 2 decades of success. And the Packers have enjoyed something similar with Aaron Rodgers, not necessarily, all the way to the Super Bowl as many times as Tom Brady has, but, Hall of Fame level quarterback play for 15 years.
Right.
And Tom Brady eventually, decided like, hey, I've had enough here. I'm going to go somewhere else. Do you see Aaron Rodgers forcing his way out of Green Bay, going to like, say, an already pretty decent team like the Bucs were, and then just having that team like completely reload, go all in with Aaron Rodgers for these last few years of his career? Or do you see him staying in Green Bay until it's done?
I don't know. I don't think he'll stay in Green Bay. I mean, I don't know. Like based on what he said, I mean, he could calm down, because I know earlier he said, I don't see any reason why I would leave Green Bay. Obviously that changed. That was when he was first getting speculated out. That was months ago. If he went to the Patriots, I think he would win a Super Bowl for sure, because I think Bill Belichick and him would be a lethal combo. I don't know. I mean, he could. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that would be interested in having Aaron Rodgers. A lot of teams with good rosters that would be interested in having.
What was Splash? Do you remember his short list? I believe it was Denver, Las Vegas, and somebody else. San Francisco, right?
I don't think I've seen if he has a short list.
Denver,
I believe
quite an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, anything's an upgrade over Drew Lock, but
because I was banging the table for Denver to trade the farm for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
and my
legal issues. I believe somebody in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the short list was Las Vegas, Denver, and San Francisco. San Francisco with Rodgers, immediate Super Bowl favorites without a doubt.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I was right. 49ers, Broncos, Raiders. 49ers.
Those teams would be really good suitors for him. I think I would actually like to watch him on the Raiders.
That would definitely be interesting.
That would be like a 40-point per game offense, I think.
Definitely.
That's lethal.
Now, defense would still suck, but
yeah, true.
Ooh,
I mean, I just don't want him in the AFC because there's such a
good point.
A talent difference between the AFC and the NFC at this point, and I think it's only gotten lighter this offseason.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to avoid Tom Brady, I guess, but
yeah, who's like outside of Rodgers, who's like the second best quarterback in the NFC? Dak Prescott coming off a broken leg. I love me some Dak. But then you're like Matt Ryan,
Jameis Winston,
43-year-old Tom Brady.
And then you go over to the AFC, you've got all these young guys. You got Justin Herbert, you got Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. And I could go on and on and on. But
Jarrett Stidham.
Oh boy.
Yeah. probably the best one out of that list.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow too. Hopefully he doesn't die this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't invest in that O-line. We might see another quarterback trying to force his way out of the team.
Okay, speaking of Joe Burrow, it's pretty much split. Penny Sewell, Jamar Chase. When the Bengals come on the clock, right before your Dolphins there, Justin, who will the Bengals select?
I literally have no clue. I mean, the Bengals, they've been so incompetent for years and years and years on end. Can't trust them to make the right decision and take Penei Sewell. But you also have to consider
you're right.
they invested in Joe Burrow. Like, this is their number one pick. This is your golden goose. This is your guy for the foreseeable future. And only 10 games into his career, his knee gets folded. You've got to learn from that. You've got to,
got to
just
protect them.
yeah, you got to protect him. And like, I just like these guys, they're smart. I mean, they're running an NFL team. Like, you have to be smart in order to do that. But like,
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, do you really though?
I can't trust them. Like, I want to believe so bad that they're going to make the right decision. Like, it should be common sense.
Mhm.
And the fact that this is even a debate is, I think, a really big indicator of like how incompetent the Bengals have been for so many years. It's just, I want to trust them. I really do. But yeah, see, like, don't screw this up, Cincy. I love Joe Burrow. He was one of my favorite quarterback prospects ever. And I really want to see him succeed, but he's not going to succeed until they invest in that O-line. And I know the argument, like, this is a deep tackle class, this is a deep offensive line class. It's also a deep receiver class. I'd argue that it's a deeper receiver class than it is offensive line class. So, take Sewell at 1, get your slot guy at 2, because you've already got 2 great boundary guys in T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Get like your Elijah Moore or your Terrace Marshall. If you really want that LSU connection, take Terrace Marshall. So take Sewell in the first round. Take Marshall at, I believe, 38 or 37, whatever it is. And then, spend your round 3 and round 4 picks on guys like, you got Brady Christensen in the 3rd, perhaps maybe Aaron Banks in the 4th. I don't know if he falls that far. But it's just, I want them to make the right decision. I really do.
I think I'm going to play devil's advocate here. And while I agree both tackle and wide receiver are very deep with talent, I think you can still get a wide receiver. I think you can still get a starting, like a day 1 starting tackle in round 2. Or if you want, you can go interior if you really trust Riley Reef. I know there are people in U Stadium that think Riley Reef is God. I gotcha. Not God. The scheme in Minnesota helped him out tremendously. But regardless, I think you can get a starting wide receiver on day 2. And at a certain point, how much of a need is wide receiver? Oh, wow. I just butchered my own argument. So you take Chase at, wow, that was bad. You take Chase at 5, and then I think you can still get a day 1 starting tackle at 38 if I remember correctly. And I think that after the 2nd round, the tackle depth drops. But on like if you move into the 3rd round, then you're looking at other positions. And I think the best bet for the Bengals might have to be go Chase at 5, and then you draft a Cosme, Eichenberg, Leatherwood, although Leatherwood at tackle would be great for the Ravens, Steelers, and Browns, perhaps. But I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate. Chase at 5, offensive line in the second round. You could even argue Pitts at 5, honestly. And I want to pose a question to you guys. How much of the Jamar Chase to Cincinnati is purely because Joe Burrow is the starting quarterback?
I say a fair amount. I mean, Jamar Chase is a lot of people's wide receiver 1. But I honestly don't think that Jamar Chase to Cincy would have as much like steam as it does if Joe Burrow wasn't the starting quarterback and they hadn't put up, world-defying numbers in 2019 over in LSU. I mean, I'm not sure how much I believe about, Joe Burrow like hanging the table for Jamar Chase. Apparently wasn't that what came out a while ago?
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
can get
mean,
your guy, but then you can go get Terrace Marshall.
Exactly. And like I say, the argument for Chase is like, oh, Joe Burrow to Chase, we've already had that connection before. Rebuild at 2019 LSU. But like Penei Sewell, in my opinion, is at least borderline generational at offensive tackle. I love Penei Sewell. He's my player too, behind Kyle Pitts. Jamar Chase, in my opinion, is not a generational wide receiver prospect. I know some people will disagree with me on that, but he's not even my wide receiver 1, so I can't consider him generational. Take the generational prospect at 5 because of you shouldn't even be dropping to 5. You should be going much earlier than that. But as we all know, quarterbacks are going crazy this year. But
Yeah, it's a weird year.
definitely. But all I gotta say is take Sewell at 5. If you're Cincy, like it's the right decision. All right. Splash says he's having issues, so hopefully he'll be back soon.
All right, I'm co-host now.
Co-host Jack. But let's see, Jack. What do you believe? Like prospect that you really like outside of quarterbacks that you would like the Patriots to draft?
One prospect that I really like.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like I would be okay with a lot of guys. It's obviously quarterback is the number one, but I would be okay with any of like Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, or Jalen Waddle. Those would all be fine with me. I mean, I would. I just kind of want action. I know it's kind of stupid to like be just hoping for a quarterback just for action. I think that Fields and Lance would be great. I think that they would be awesome, but I think it's also partially because I just want something exciting to happen. On draft day, most probably nothing really exciting is going to happen. They're going to get either Cam, or if they get Garoppolo when he gets released, they'll probably get him help. I don't know. I like Devontae Smith. You were telling me he was your wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
And so I looked at him. I really like him. That would be a cool pick if he gets there. I like Parsons. I looked more into his off the field stuff. If other teams don't really care, then I'm sure the Patriots wouldn't care. That's kind of like a Bill Belichick guy, honestly, like a Patriot way player.
Definitely.
Some of those would be fine.
I got a question from Mike in the chat. I can't put. Oh, apparently Splash is here. He put it up.
I think
there he is. Welcome back.
Cool.
All right. Question from Mike. The Bengals do go chase and Pitts went to the Falcons. Would you be fine with Penei? Because that's what I have happening. That's what I had happening as well in my final mock draft that I posted not too long ago. It was a 3-rounder. I had Penei Sewell going 6 to Miami, and then I had them trading back up from 18 to 9 with Denver to draft Jalen Waddle, wide receiver at Alabama, because I believe they probably like Waddle a little bit better than Devontae Smith. I would draft Devontae Smith, but if I had to guess a wide receiver Miami was going to take, it's probably going to be Waddle. But I would be totally fine with it. There's been a report saying that they're thinking about moving Robert Hunt over to right guard. I believe he's a little bit better of a guard than a tackle. So, now you got Hunt and Kindley manning the guard positions. Those are 2 very, very good players. And then you got my player 2 over at offensive tackle. And I've just got to say, like, if Austin Jackson is your 5th best offensive lineman, then you've got a pretty decent O-line. So, but yeah, I would, if they do that though, I want them to trade up for a wide receiver. It needs to happen. There was a report from, I believe, a Broncos reporter that said there's a deal in place for Miami to trade up to 9 if they take Sewell at 6. I'm not sure how much steam that has, if it's real, but I would be totally okay with that.
What happened with that Chargers tweet?
The Chargers and Giants trade. So Chargers give up 13 and a third to move up to 11. I don't believe that was an accident. I think we're going to see that happen tonight, unless some team like outbids them and moves up to 11.
That'd be interesting. Like it's interesting that they actually posted it.
Yeah.
What a mess up.
Some poor social media intern probably got like a go ahead and was like, all right, post a trade. But I mean, we see that happen. Like teams agree on trades beforehand, before the draft, but they don't actually announce them until draft night, to get some secrecy, I guess.
Yeah, and you only have, 10 minutes per pick, so these teams are doing their due diligence. The Giants and Chargers, I'm sure, have been talking for a lot more than just a couple days about trading picks. I do think it's interesting that they have, it's in place, but in what circumstance would the Chargers want to cut the deal off? If Christian Darrisaw goes to Dallas, let's say at 10, then why would the Chargers really want to trade up and get Tevin Jenkins at 11 or Elijah Vera Tucker at 11? I feel like it's been written in stone that the Chargers will end the draft with Christian Darrisaw. And if not Darrisaw, it's because Slater slipped. And I understand the trade, and I understand getting it like mapped out, but I think there's a lot of ways this goes horribly, horribly wrong because Dallas could use a tackle. They could take a Darisaw at 10. Might be a little rich, I understand. And there's other teams jockeying for tackles. There could be a solid run. Say if Penny doesn't go at 8 or doesn't go at 6, Miami could go tackle, and I wouldn't doubt them. Washington could go tackle. I wouldn't doubt them. Chicago could go tackle. I wouldn't doubt them. And the Colts could go tackle, and I wouldn't doubt them. And heck, even Tennessee at 22 could go tackle. The Jets at 23 could go tackle. Pittsburgh at 24 could go tackle. There could be a comically long run of tackles from and even Vegas. I get Vegas going at 17, taking Tevin Jenkins. So really from 17 down to 25, and even 25, you could argue with Jacksonville that if the best player available is a tackle, they take him. And from 17 to 25, those 9 picks, you could have 7 tackles potentially. I don't think 7 tackles go. I don't have 10 tackles as a first-round grade. But you're talking tackle. And any of those teams could try to jump up if you see a Sewell fall, a Slater fall, a Darisaw fall. And while we assume the Chargers are going to pick one of them up, and while a lot of us believe that the Bengals would be in the right to take Sewell at 5, we could have some chaos. And the Chargers, there's a lot of ways I see the Chargers not ending up getting to 11, whether that's Darisaw and Slater are there at 11, so Giants take one. So who knows?
You want to know something that just popped in my head when we were discussing the Chargers trade? So assume Bengals go chase at 5. Miami takes a tackle, I guess, like Sewell.
Mm-hmm.
Say Detroit passes on a receiver, or maybe takes Devontae Smith.
Okay.
So that leaves the Panthers, who probably not going receiver. Number 9, the Broncos probably not going receiver. Cowboys definitely not going receiver. Chargers trading up to 11 to take Jalen Waddle away from the Eagles.
Okay.
And create a scary offense down there in LA. I hate it. I hate it actually, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you hate it in a football fan way, or do you hate it for the Chargers?
I hate it because I think they need other help in other positions on the offensive line, especially, and probably on defense as well.
Okay, so we saw last year, right? They traded up to get Kenneth Murray at the end of the first round. Mm-hmm. What keeps them from trading up early in the first round to get a receiver? And then if you see one of the tackles fall, Cosme, Jenkins, I guess Veritaker if you want to count him as a tackle, and maybe the Chargers see that depth of tackle that we talked about with the Bengals as the one reason you don't take Sewell. Maybe they see hey, let's go grab this all-world wide receiver, and then we can get a starting caliber offensive lineman on day 2. When I think the inverse isn't necessarily true, that if you take, say, Darisaw, like we expect them to, your day 2 wide receiver isn't they'll be good, but they would be your wide receiver 3 behind Keenan Allen and
Mike Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams. And even then, you have guys that you brought in last year that you kind of like Guyton and KJ Hill, I guess, to some degree. And then Eckler, of course, as a receiving back. That's it. Because I think the gap between tackle talent and wide receiver talent, I think the top 10 or 12 tackles, they can be day 1 starters. As in terms of wide receivers, Waddle can supplant Mike Williams. I don't know if a day 2 wide receiver supplants Mike Williams.
Yeah. So
if the Chargers drafted, say, your man, Diami Brown, at the top of the 2nd round, I would say, why are you drafting a wide receiver? You have other needs. But if you draft Jalen Waddle, then you're saying, okay, Waddle is going to be a focal point of the team, and I think that makes sense. For me, I would compare it to Pittsburgh taking Najee Harris. Taking Najee Harris is fine because he's such a talent upgrade. But if you were taking, I don't know, Kenneth Gainwell in the first round at least, Kenneth Gainwell in the first round, not a great idea.
They would. They totally would, though.
Hey, is Trey Sermon in the first round, anybody?
They would. I'm telling you, they would.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, Frankie, you're right. Where's Alex? I'm gonna text Alex, try to get him on the show.
Was he supposed to be in here?
I mean, he messaged in the group chat that he wanted to come on.
Am I not good enough, Frankie?
Okay, you, Alex, there he is.
Yeah.
Come on the show, por favor. There we
I
go.
like the jersey, Justin.
Thank you. I won it in a contest. Shout out Frankie for the jersey and Nick.
Oh, cool.
But
It wasn't meant to be promo. But
Oh yeah, those
Like
Oxfords
you
are gorgeous.
like you said, I actually I had De'Ami Brown going to the Chargers in my 3-round mock that I posted earlier today. So that's another option. I think that's what they should do. If they're going to trade up, do it for like Darasol or Slater. But yeah, I think they're an aggressive team though, so we might see them go Waddle, but we also might see a wide receiver like fall out of the top 15. It's just so I have a feeling like by the end of tonight we're going to be throwing all our mocks in the trash.
Absolutely. I have a theory. I saw it on Twitter. I don't remember what Blue Check gave it to or said this, but there apparently are rumblings that teams are not going to be willing to trade 2022 draft capital because it's so valuable compared to this year. So I get the sense that there might be some teams that are like punting this year. So you might see some weird trades that like
trade downs when you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, like I would say Baltimore's a bad example here because they traded down in the same draft. But imagine if the Ravens like traded the 58th pick for like next year's like a third. So you're like taking a step down next year, but you're getting guys that one are actually playing football and not opting out. Two, playing in more normal circumstances. We had Anthony Schwartz on the Play Like a Jet podcast yesterday, and he said that while SEC schools were still loud because SEC fans are off the wall, you're not playing with the same, I don't want to say intensity, but you're playing in different circumstances. You can go to baseball last year, no fans, nowhere. Ian Anderson for the Braves, rookie, has a sub-2 ERA, kills it in the playoffs. There were no fans. That helps probably. So you might see some weird trades this year. Like I think I have a solid grasp on at least like 100 guys and think they can be good in the NFL. And these teams have obviously done a lot more work than I have. But there could be some, one, wild picks tonight and tomorrow and Saturday. And two, teams that are, I don't really want to take this guy in the 5th round when I can get a guy that probably will be better next year in the 6th round even. And that just like COVID has thrown such a weird wrench that there are going to be injury concerns like last year and this year that, say like Ashton Davis last year, that you have injury concerns that in most years you can get checked out. Jalen Phillips in a lot of years, you have all the numbers you want on him. Caleb Farley, I totally blanked. I know Greg Newsome had some injury issues at Northwestern, but he's not the guy I was thinking of. But you get the idea that the guy from Vandy, Deo Odenet, whatever.
Not even gonna attempt that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna attempt that. Even tomorrow when he gets drafted, no chance. But I think there's going to be some teams that do some goofy maneuvering this year.
I think what's going to happen, teams that have like their structure like already in place, kind of like teams who aren't experiencing as much turnover, like say a Tampa Bay or maybe, I don't want to say Green Bay, I guess, Buffalo definitely. But teams who haven't experienced a lot of turnover, they're going to be the ones who are like punting, because they want to, keep it consistent and, just move on to next year and like keep the structure they already have in place. Because, the ones who benefited the most this year were the ones who didn't experience as much like, volatile turnover, aside from the Bucks, of course. But teams who are like kind of like rebuilding. So, like your Jacksonvilles and your New Yorks and your Detroits, those are teams that are going to be like super aggressive and try and move up and, get as many players this year as possible on this loaded draft class.
Right. And I think it can work both ways. Like we've seen with the Rams that they have an incredibly talented team and they've kind of mortgaged the future in a lot of ways. And then you have these other teams, say Miami, that pop up, hey, guess what? We're really, really good. Why? Because we flipped Laramie Tunsil for like half of a country, essentially. That's what it feels like now. And if you're Dwayne Brown up in Seattle, I wonder if he thinks to himself, like, I caused Houston, part of the Houston mess. I caused Miami to be really good at football. Now, of course, Miami's, I think they've hit on a lot of their draft picks. I know the jury's still out on Austin Jackson. Igbenogany, that's how you say it. And
jury's still out on all 3 of their first-round picks from last year. So
but hey, you had 3 first-round picks, and if one of them hits, it can work. You know?
Yeah.
Especially when they're at quarterback, wide receivers, or quarterback, corner, quarterback, and tackle.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jack.
Say it again, Jack.
You bring up Tunsil. I think that's interesting, like bringing him up in this draft scenario. With it, he kind of reminds me of Micah Parsons, in the sense that, I mean, it's a different scenario where Tunsil came out like on draft day, but it's like he slipped so far and then turned out to be the talent that everybody knew he was going to be because of the off the field stuff. I mean, I know, granted, it was just people were really scared right in the moment of the Tunsil stuff.
I remember I was scrolling through U Stadium and I saw the gas mask meme. It's like, is he still a first round
so
pick?
funny, dude.
Because he was the guy that Baltimore could have taken at 6, and like I wouldn't have been mad about it. He was like a number 1 player in the draft caliber guy, and then he slips to 14.
Yeah, that could be a Parsons, man. If he slipped because of off the field stuff.
Now, Parsons in New England. That's a scary one.
That's scary, yeah.
Cool.
Jack, I know like quarterback might be a bigger need, but Micah Parsons, Dante Hightower 2.0, but more athletic.
Yeah,
like
I'd be okay without taking a quarterback. Like it's not this year. I don't think that it's a huge need. I don't even know if Trey Lance would play this year. So
yeah. Jack, before we wrap up, I got one more question for you. Right. If the Patriots don't trade up for, like, say, a Fields or a Lance who's falling, what's a weird team that you think might, like, say, Washington, Chicago, New Orleans? Like, who's your prediction?
Washington all day. I don't know. I keep seeing a lot of different teams that get mocked to trade up. I think there's a decent chance that the Panthers could just stay and take him.
I think they should. I think he's an upgrade over Darnold.
I think that that they easily should. Or I think that they could, anyways. I don't know. I think that I wouldn't imagine them having a problem having Darnold and Fields.
Yeah. In my mock, I had New Orleans jumping all the way up from 28 to 17 with the Raiders, and then up again to 7 with Detroit to grab Fields. So, there's been rumors about them trying to get up into the top 10 for a corner. But I think if New Orleans does trade up and they have Fields in their lap, then they should take him.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah.
So I guess before we wrap up, we're going to reply to this comment. Splash, better hope the Ravens get a wide receiver. Rashad Bateman and Rashad Bateman only today. We can talk about tomorrow's guys tomorrow because the Ravens have a couple third-round picks. But Rashad Bateman tonight, otherwise I might not have a head in a couple hours. First, thank you, Jack, for coming on. It was a blast having you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So yeah, we're gonna try to do the more pick 6 over the summer, right? Maybe, I don't know.
Sure.
So thank you, Jack, and we will see you soon. Let me even that out. So on the subject of Justin Fields, I don't think if you're Carolina or Denver, let me make this very clear. Sam Darnold is not someone you sacrifice Justin Fields or Trey Lance for. And neither is Teddy Bridgewater. So I think Carolina and Denver should still be in the quarterback market. I know those teams don't think that way, but give me both Lance and Fields over Darnold or Bridgewater /Lock. So I just want to make that very clear before we wrap it up. Any final words, Justin? We're joined by another special guest.
Everyone say hi to Cheddar. She's claimed me as her person ever since she moved here. But oh shit. I mean, it was a lot of fun being here. I'm super excited for the draft. Pass a little bit of time because, like I said earlier, draft anxiety is a real thing. I was super busy yesterday. I was just trying to take my mind off it.
Absolutely.
But love being here. Love the show. Hopefully, we get to do something tomorrow after the first round. Give some analysis. But while we're wrapping up, I'm gonna plug Nick and Frankie's show. The U Stadium virtual draft party is starting in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I have to
So
be
you know, so
you'll
same
see
channel.
me.
Make sure you guys just go hop over to that. I'm gonna hopefully get on during the Miami pick, and you guys can see me rage when they make a dumb decision. But so yeah, go check that out. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. It's a lot of fun, Splash. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, always happy to have you on. And with that, we're going to do a little quick wrap up. Again, stay tuned. Stay on the YouTube channel. There's a few of you watching. Make sure you stay here. We got some banger guests. We got CJ Mosley. We got Jamison Crowder. We got Hunter Henry. We got some guys I can't mention because they're not a guarantee yet. We have Scott from Play Like a Jet. If you love the Play Like a Jet pod that we do, you're going to love Scott. So stay tuned to the U Stadium Network. We're going to be knocking out some banger content this week. Jack and I will be on tomorrow. And, of course, Justin, if you want, we can try to do a show tomorrow. That'd be great. So, yeah, I will see you in a few hours, I guess.
Yep.
So
All right.
peace out, folks.
Thanks, everyone.